Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. YouTube viewers, Ali here again. Just continuing the series on the five pillars of Islam. In this video, what I will discuss is how do you cleanse yourself for the performance of prayer. This is the most important part in the performance of prayer. The key to prayer is wudu or ablution, cleansing of your body. Without this, basically, your prayer may not be accepted. Allah knows better, but the key to prayer is your wudu. Okay, so it's very important you understand how to do wudu, and without that, it's very much possible that your prayer may not be accepted. And my heart is that to teach you how to do that, such that your prayer would be accepted. And of course, Allah knows better. I mean, and I am, again, like I said before in many of my videos, I'm not a scholar by any means. Inshallah, one day I may become one, but as of today, I am not. All right, so basically, there are three ways that you can clean yourself: either wudu, ghusl, or tayammum, and I'll go through them in that order. Okay, so what is wudu? Wudu is basically washing the parts of your body that are generally exposed. Okay, so I'll go through that in order so that you can see how that is done. So the very first thing that you should do when you're going to make wudu is that make sure you have a pure, clean source of water. It should be it shouldn't have color and taste and smell. It should be unchanged water. It should be basically fresh water that you're using to perform that. You basically form have intention. Again, intention is very important in Islam. You should always make sure that you make intention for whatever you're going to do in Islam, that you have the intention to do whatever it is. So you say, my basic intention is nawaitu an ata wahdahu nawaitu an ata wahdahu alis-salah. Nawaitu an ata wahdahu alis-salah. Basically, oh Allah, I intend to perform wudu for the performance of prayer. So that's basically the intention. You intend to perform wudu for the performance of prayer. And again, my brothers and sisters that are learning about Islam, until you don't know how to say it in Arabic, please, by all means, say it in English. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, created you and gave you English as the language that you understand, or French or whatever it is that you speak. So by all means, say it as you understand it, so this way, because you and God do have that personal relationship, even if you don't know that. So, make your intention that, I want to perform wudu for the performance of prayer, to cleanse my body, whatever you want to say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understands what you're saying. Then basically, once you've said your intention, then you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, most beneficent, most merciful. And then there are some parts of the body that you wash. So I'm just going to back up here a little bit so you can see me. Okay. So what you would do is you'd wash your hands. Basically, wash your hands like, washing between the fingers and everything 3 times. And there are a lot of people say you can wash one hand 3 times, like that type of thing, and then wash the other hand. It's up to you. My personal preference is you wash one hand and wash the other hand, and wash one hand, wash the other hand. It's up to you. Allah knows better, but that's how I prefer to do it. Okay. And once you're done washing your hands, then you take a cup of water in your hand, put it in your mouth, and you can kind of wash around in your mouth, or some people they stick their finger and brush their teeth with their finger and spit it out. Do that 3 times. Then basically what you would do is you take some water in your hands and kind of just push it up in your nose a little bit, and then kind of blow it out to kind of wash your nostrils, that type of thing. Then you take a handful of water and wash your face, from the forehead to the chin bone. Basically, all of this should, basically all by your ears, those should get washed, right? Then basically what you do is, after that you take some water and wash your hand up to your elbow. 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 Again, 3 times. Then what you do is you wash your hands and you hold your hands out like this. And I can't see without my glasses, but hopefully you can see this. when you wash your hand. And then what you do is you pass your hands like this, keeping these fingers without touching anything. Pass your hands over your head, flip it over, wipe the back of your neck, okay? And then you take these fingers, take the finger and you put it in your ear, and you kind of just wash in between your ears, and you take the thumb and wash behind your ears. So these are washing inside your ears, these are washing behind your ears. Okay, so that's the thing, and then you wash your feet 3 times again. So basically, that's how you perform wudu, and that's how I understand the performance of wudu. The most important parts for wudu is that the face must be washed. The both arms up to from the tip of the fingers to the elbow. The quarter of the head should also be washed, and both feet. So those are the main ways to perform wudu. That's the most important part. Then basically, like, let's say for instance you're stranded somewhere and you don't have running water. Basically, you should make sure that the water that you're using is pure and clean. And if it has to be stagnant water and it's not running water, like like a river or something, and it's stagnant water, you should make sure that the where the water is about most scholars agree by about 10 yards by 10 yards, 1 foot deep. The water should be so, and the reason for that is so that all the sediments and stuff like that will be at the bottom. So at the the top of the water should be more or less clean for you to use. If you have like, there's different schools of thought on the wearing of like socks. Like a lot of people say that if you're not wearing a leather socks, you take off your socks to wash your feet. But if you, and my understanding of this thing is that if you already have wudu before you put your socks on, and you put your socks on and then you break your wudu somehow or the other, what you can do is just wet your hand and pass it over the socks. Because when you put the socks on, you're cleaned. All right, so that's just my understanding of this thing. So that's basically how wudu is performed. Now, ghusl is another way of cleansing our body, and ghusl is important, especially when 3 things have happened. One, if you have sexual intercourse, it's very important that you do ghusl. If you had, in the case of men, if you had a wet dream, kind of soils your clothes and all that good stuff, it's important then. And in the case of women, if when she's finished her period, it's important then. So ghusl is important in those 3 main instances. It's always important to do ghusl. You can do ghusl any other time, but especially after these 3 things have happened, it's very important. You must do ghusl. Your prayer is not accepted if you don't do ghusl. Okay. Basically, what is important in ghusl is that you rinse your mouth thoroughly. It's clean. You rinse your nose, kind of like you do this sniff thing, right? And then you wash every part of your body from head to foot. Basically, every grain of hair on your body should get wet. Okay, I remember when I was a kid, to trick our grandmother, my brother would go wet his hair and like rub some water on his chest, and his entire back would be dry. That would not be ghusl, okay? Your entire body should be wet, okay? Every part of your body should, basically have water on there. Basically, if you're performing obligatory ghusl, and again, that's for those 3 things that I mentioned, it's important, again, intention. You'll always hear this in Islam. Intention is important. Intention is important. Make a niyyah, make an intention. Even I'm not planning to go to Hajj until 2015. That is when I've decided that it's important for me to go to Hajj with my wife. I mean, maybe Allah might bless us, and me and my wife might decide to go before that. But in the year 2015, I definitely want to go. At that age, I'll be about 35 years old, and I think it's a good age to be focused on Islam rather than everything else. But again, Allah knows better. But that is my intention, and it's very important that you have intentions for whatever you're going to do in Islam. Okay, anything in life, as a matter of fact, if you don't have an intention, like I'm a part of a business group outside of work and everything else like that. And one of the things that we always thought is the power of spoken words, and it's very important that you speak what you want. Okay, so this is where intentions come in. If you don't speak what you want, you will never have it. So it's very important. Please understand this thing, that you speak, your goals in life. So you speak whatever it is. So in Islam, this is something that you'll find in everything that we do. Even when you sleep with your wife, your intentions are there. You have intentions that you say, Allah protects from Satan and all these other things. While you're performing those acts, you make intention to these things. So it's very important that you make an intention. Okay, I intend to cleanse my body, to remove all impurities, for for the performance of prayer, and to be clean in the sight of you. Whatever the case is, you make your intention for to cleanse your body. Then you wash your hands up to the wrist, 3 times. You wash your private parts, because those are usually dirty, especially for the 3 most important things. And then once those things have been removed, you wash your mouth and your nose. Of course, wash your hand first, right? And then you wash the entire rest of your body. And basically, what you should really do before you wash the entire rest of your body, you should actually perform ablution. You should perform wudu. While you're there in the shower, whatever, you perform wudu, and then you wash the rest of the body. So let me kind of run through that again, because I know I kind of just jumped around. You make your intention. That's the very first thing. Then you wash your hands up to the wrist. Okay, 3 times. Then you wash the private parts that are dirty. Once those are washed, you wash your hands again, and then you perform ablution. And in the performance of ablution, you wash the mouth and the nose and everything else like that. Wash your hands, your mouth, that whole thing, the feet, everything. And then you wash the entire rest of the body. The whole rest of the body should be washed completely. Every grain of hair should be wet. So basically, if you want to know if you did it right, if you can find one dry grain of hair, you haven't done it right. Okay, so I'm sorry for those that have like the dreadlocks and everything else like that. It's a little hard, a little difficult, but you gotta wash the root of the hair. Every grain of hair should get wet. The root of the hair. I should be careful about that. The root of the hair should be wet. Okay. Now let's say that you can't do wudu or ghusl because of the fact that you're sick. You have high fever and this, that, the other, for fear of getting sicker. How do you prepare yourself for prayer? Well, there's what we call tayammum, which is basically what you would do if, like, let's say you were in a place like in the middle of the desert and there's no water and you needed to pray. How do you do this? Or you're traveling and there's no water available. How do you do this thing? Well, in this case, you can use tayammum. Tayammum is basically what you would do. Is that first of all, again, you make intention. Intention is important. I keep stressing this thing. Intention for everything you do in Islam is important. You make the intention, for tayammum, that basically Allah remove all impurities from me. That I intend to perform tayammum, remove all impurities from me, so that I can perform the prayer. Then what you do is you take your hand and you strike, the dirt, just lightly strike the dirt, right? And then you take that, once you just kind of touch it, right? You pass your hands over your face, okay? And then you strike it again, and then you rub your hands, from the elbows, to the fingers, kind of, just rub the hands. I mean, not like that, but like that type of thing. After you press your hands on there. So that's how you, that's basically how you do tayammum. Now, I know I mentioned that you can break your wudu. So what are the things that can make your wudu broken? Well, the very first thing, the call of nature, be it frontal or rare, that will definitely break your wudu. Basically, if you vomit, that will break your wudu because you have that dirtiness in your mouth. Basically, if blood is immersed, basically from or the yellow stuff, the yellow ugly looking stuff, basically if it comes from a wound or a boil or a pimple or something like that, basically when it is running on down or something, that is, your wudu is broken. Um, the loss of consciousness through sleep. So like if because you're sitting there sleeping and you don't realize you might have farted or something. Also, farting is another thing that will break your wudu. So if you lost consciousness temporarily, your wudu is broken. You should go do it again because you don't know again if you farted, which is will break your wudu. If you temporary insanity, having a faint, fit, or hysteria, or intoxication. Of course, as Muslims in today's time, intoxication shouldn't be an issue because alcohol is forbidden. But intoxication is also one of the things that will break your wudu. And I should mention this thing. According to the Prophet, basically, once if you're drinking alcohol, 40 days of your prayer is not accepted. And a lot of people say, well, if I drink alcohol, I won't pray for 40 days and then I'll continue after that. It's 40 days of prayer is not accepted. Okay, so it's not 40 days of not praying was not accepted. 40 days of prayer is not accepted. So just be aware of that. And then audible laughter during the prayer. So if you're in a standing prayer and you start laughing, your wudu is broken. So those are things that will break your wudu. As far as nullifying tayammum, basically if you what you call it, if you get well and you can do wudu, tayammum is broken. Okay, so once the sick person recovers or whatever else it is, tayammum is no longer valid for you. All right, so those are the things that you should be careful about. Now, what makes what is the point of wudu? The point of wudu is the importance of wudu in ghusl or tayammum is for prayer. That's the main thing, and also for walking around the Kaaba in Mecca. Now, a lot of people say that it's also important for carrying and handling the Quran. We do that out of respect because it is Allah's words. Okay, and this is where like you'll find that a lot of Muslims, they don't how do you call it? They don't like giving the Quran to non-Muslims because of the fact that they don't know how to perform wudu. And no non-Muslim is going to perform wudu to read the Quran, but Allah told us to give them the Quran to read it. Right, so how do we give them the Quran to read it if they don't perform wudu? Allah knows better. My belief, my personal belief, is that for them reading the Quran, it's not a sin because this is how they will learn Allah's words. So don't try to force them to do wudu when you give them the Quran. We do the wudu because we want of respect for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't take the Quran into the bathroom and read it as bathroom material, right? We read the Quran out of sincerity, and because of that, we would do wudu. But again, my belief is that it's not important for a non-believer, but as Muslims, out of respect, we would do that, right? Does wudu have any other meaning besides physical cleanliness? And it does. It's a spiritual cleanliness. When you're doing wudu, your mind is already focusing on the fact that your goal is to get nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you wash them out, it's you're washing out whatever bad words you said, kind of type of thing. When you wash your ears, like you'll hear what Allah is telling you from your prayer. So this is something that you should always think about when you're performing wudu. Your goal is to gain that nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why we pray so much. So we always remember Allah at least 5 times a day so that we can gain nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the nearer you are, the better off you are on the day of judgment, right? And basically it's important that you always ask Allah to be of those who keep faith in Islam and everything else like that. So with that, I end this video on cleanliness in Islam for prayer. Next video, inshallah, I will talk about the some other factors, and then maybe I will actually perform 2 rakat nafil so that people will have an idea of how to do that. So inshallah, I end this video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.